Okay, welcome everybody. This is another episode of Into the Night, Bigfoot Paranormal Talk Radio. Tonight we have guests Jamal Terrell, it's my family, and Malcolm Carter, that's my family tonight. Uh, we have Jamal Terrell is a DJ. He's located in Michigan, so if you all need any music done, you make sure you call him and get in contact with him. And he'll give you his email at the end of the show or whatever info he's got, and then you all can talk. You want music? He's got it. Next, we got Malcolm Carter, filmmaker from California. You all met him last episode. We did a movie review. I forgot the movie review we did, Malcolm, for last.
I'm forgetting the title. I can't believe I forgot the title.
All right, but it was good. Whatever it was good. So we got Malcolm Carter. He's a filmmaker in LA. Make sure you all check out his new movie coming out. He has two coming out. One is Sleepers, and what's the other one, Malcolm?
Company of Prophets.
Yeah, Company of Prophets. And he gave you all a synopsis on the last episode. So you all know about that already. So tonight, what we're going to do, we're going to move a little bit fast tonight because it's too hot outside today. We're going to do a movie called Exist. That was really good. Jamal and I, we watched that Saturday. Malcolm, you watched it. When did you watch? You just watched
it? Sunday morning. I checked it out on West Coast time, Sunday morning.
All right, so everybody out there, make sure, all the Bigfoot fans and the ones who like Bigfoot movies, make sure that you check out Exist. It's one of the top Bigfoot movies out there. So let's see, because Malcolm, last time we talked about the movie, Jamal, how did you feel? How did you feel about the movie?
Well, I mean, so overall, I like the movie. Okay, let me just put that out there. Okay, but there's some things I wish it would have done different, right? So primarily leading into it, the found footage thing has sort of been done like to death. It's almost like an overcooked steak at this point, right? And I get it, it's kind of like an inexpensive way of delivering something like this. So that was really my biggest concern about the movie. But once it started to go, because it starts off kind of typical teenagers or young adults kind of doing what they do, and then boom, all of a sudden they're in the midst of something. Once it got going, it was really entertaining. It was like, okay, I like this. We don't really see this that often. And it was, I don't know if it was scary to some, but for me, it was kind of funny. But it was still good, seeing Sasquatch move in that way, operate in that way was actually it was cool, but I didn't think it was necessarily demonizing it. I felt like it was a natural response to, what would happen to anything, if I don't want to give away the movie, so to speak, the reasons why it was acting in this manner, but to me it was consistent with all of nature, in my opinion, so it was good. I enjoyed the end result of it, so to speak.
Well, we all hope you saw the movie because we're about to spoil it tonight, people. That's right. I'm telling everything. Anyway, that movie.
Spoilers. Put spoilers on your thing, man.
Spoilers alert. Okay, so
a lot of people.
If that's the case, if I can say spoilers, right? Seeing him run after people, chuck rocks at people, stuff like that. Like he was manhandling the girl inside the cabin or whatever the case may be. I loved all of it. Honestly, I like creature features and I like disaster flicks only because I like seeing people get messed up. Call me weird, but that's just the truth. Like, it's fun. Like, that's the reason why you watch disaster movies. You don't watch disaster movies to see people get away, to escape. You want to see, ooh, that was bad.
Right.
So I thought like the execution of it, once you got past the typical stuff of the found footage, I liked it.
Yeah.
Okay. Malcolm, what did you think?
I'm probably pretty much right there with Paul. Again, why I'm forgetting. It must be the holiday because I'm forgetting a lot of names. But when it came up, it had Lionsgate, and then I saw the director, and it sounded familiar. I believe his first name's Eduardo, but I can't remember the last name, so I'm not going to. But he was the director or the producer of the Blair Witch project way back in the day for the so that's the first one. So like it starts out like a like they do the found footage that Eduardo kind of helped put together in this new generation. So it's kind of like, oh, okay, he's doing that. I think it leaned a little too heavy into it, where it was just kind of like it was basically saying say to the audience you're being the found footage without being found footage. It pressed on that.
Right.
It forced itself a little bit, but as Jamal was saying, what I really liked, because the runtime was only an hour and 20 minutes.
For sure.
So it moved. It didn't it didn't stop for you to, it moved like a horror movie should.
Yeah.
And so I appreciated that. It wasn't like, okay, we gotta listen to them, do their teenage angst or whatever for 20
Right.
It didn't do that. It got right into it, which I did appreciate that. Like the director, writer, and all that were behind it knew, okay, we're going to do this the way people want to see it. And so they did. And it was entertaining for sure. It was definitely entertaining. I enjoyed it a lot.
So, what I liked about it, like my thing was even from the beginning. If you notice, I don't know, like I spoke with Jamal about it. If you all notice on the movie, the beginning, when the guy was on the porch with his fixing his bike, there was a girl, a female, and she came out. Her hair was curly, but her face was covered. And at first, it gave you a little quick second shock because it was like, oh my goodness, that's Bigfoot. But it wasn't. It was actually the young lady that went with him. And
Okay.
and what I'll do is let me explain real quick the quick synopsis for the people watching or who when they clock in and watch later. The movie is about a group of kids. I guess I don't know if they're college. I guess they're college, and a bunch of them go to a cabin in the woods, which belongs to the main character's uncle. And now the uncle had already warned the kids not to go. He said, "Don't go." He didn't tell them the reason why, but he said, "Don't go. There's things back there that you won't understand and that they're scary." So the kids went back there anyway, being hard headed, and they were in the cabin. What happened from that was the kids that went back there started. They had hit something one night, and they didn't know what they hit. Well, come to find out, they hit a baby Bigfoot or a kid Bigfoot. Just so happened that kid Bigfoot had a father or mother. I'm assuming it was a male, and that's where the action starts. Um, I thought it was one of the top Bigfoot movies I've seen. I've seen a lot of them. Number one is free. And that's one thing. And then number two, like you all said, it moved fast. Um, I love found footage. I know you all aren't big on found footage, but I love found footage. So for me, that was a plus. And then also, it had a couple of scenes that I don't know if they were meant to be funny, but as I discussed with you all, they were funny. Like the one scene where Bigfoot comes flying out of nowhere on top of the trailer. That was just crazy. Then he chases the guy, one of the characters, which I guess he wound up being the main character. He chases him through the trailer, which that was hilarious. But it was really good. I like the scenery. That's another thing I'm big on. I think you two know. I'm real big on. I know Jamal knows, and Malcolm, you probably know. I'm real big on visuals, like the scenery.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't fancy. It was just some woods. It wasn't no great mountainous Pacific Northwest region. It was just some little bit of woods, and it just looked kind of, was not, kind of like it was realistic. Like it's a trail that you could ride your bike or hike in real life. It wasn't anything great, So that was cool. I liked the characters, and there was a lot of scary. There was a lot of scary things in there, really, that made you think, like, well, like for example, the cabin scene. See what I'm saying? The cabin scene, when, like Jamal was saying, when the young lady was getting attacked by Bigfoot, Bigfoot's big old arm came through the door or whatever, and I think he
Hmm.
pushed the refrigerator out the way,
Yeah.
and that was scary. And it was always like, because you knew he was unstoppable. That was another thing. It was no way you could hide, because you couldn't get out the woods fast enough. They were too deep back there.
Hmm.
You couldn't get out the cabin because he'd get you. And all they did, they hid in the cabin, which I think that was him kind of playing with them, or giving the movie more longevity. Because in real life, something that massive and that strong would have just wiped them out in minutes, if not seconds.
It,
Uh,
You know what's
but
interesting?
was
it
I'm
was.
sorry.
no,
Okay.
Yeah.
oh,
No, and I explained to you before when we were watching it, is that one of my biggest critiques was how they got there.
mhm,
I felt like it was too typical.
mhm,
Oh, we'll just ignore all the warnings and stuff like that. Like I was saying, how like instead of it being a found footage,
mhm,
I would like to have seen something like it was shot like a regular movie, right? But the backstory is this: these kids go, say they rent a cabin or something like that online or whatever the case may be. There's a management company that's managing the cabin or
mhm,
whatever, and they go to this part of the woods and hang out and stuff like that, right? So the management company rents it to them. They go out there, right? And as they go out there, then they find footage of
mhm,
either the owner or somebody who had been there who had left like a video diary of
mhm,
sort of what was going on, right?
right,
And so something along those lines. Now I also inserted something like the reason for it, the Bigfoot, the Sasquatch acting in the manner in which it was like, say it was government testing, like a government base out there, and they were out there doing stuff and they were killing it, killing the species and stuff like that. So they decided to move out and one escaped or whatever the case may be. So that Sasquatch is roaming around. And so naturally, if his first and only interaction with humans is that of being tested or being watching his own being murdered,
Mhm.
naturally is going to think you're the enemy.
Right.
And for that to go the way that it went from there, I think would have been a better. Just me. That's just how I felt about the movie. Um, like I said, the found footage thing sort of gets old after a certain point because it's kind of like they use cheap things, like they used a wild boar or something like that in the woods, to kind of create a fake scare before you actually got to the main event. And
Right.
I
mhm,
felt like you could have you could have built up the tension and seeing these things and hey, you need to get out of here, blah blah blah. And then they could have debated a little bit about it's just somebody just trying to scare you. But
right,
all in all, to your point though, like I did like the movie. It was good, and I had my doubts initially
mhm,
when it started, but I really did enjoy this movie. I would actually recommend it for somebody who's just looking for something entertaining. It's straight to the point. No matter my feelings on found footage so much,
mhm.
you know, um, I would definitely recommend this movie.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that for most point, like it's you go into it, you kind of know what it is. It's not taking itself serious, like that. So
Right.
go and enjoy it, and see, like, yeah, there are definitely some interesting choices that they make. But overall, whenever I see these either monster movies or scary movies, things that you can see. Uh, One is kind of the horror, obviously, uh, and you have some laughs in it too, like
Hmm.
intentionally or unintentionally.
Right.
That's those type of movies. That's got to be there too. And
Mhm,
then like and to pay it off in, which was a good kind of like we were saying, concept. Again, spoiler that
mhm.
they don't know why Bigfoot's after them.
Right.
You know,
Hmm.
they mentioned it 2 or 3 times because the one guy knew, and they kept saying, "I thought you said he ain't violent. I thought you said Bigfoot ain't."
Right.
We found out why it was violent. Why, it was kind of a. I think that was a good way to cap off the movie to
Mhm.
show. Oh,
But
you
I
know,
have a question though. If you've never experienced a Sasquatch or a Bigfoot ever, how would you know whether or not they're violent or not violent? You know what I'm saying? It's like I think we have an opinion about what we think.
what they
Like
think.
like
Yeah,
we're always afraid of what we don't know anything about, like a fear of the unknown, and so we sort of demonize something before we actually come into contact. And so I kind of find that point odd. Like, hey,
Mhm.
I thought you said it wasn't violent. Well, how would you know? Unless you dealt with it. So
right, right.
Well, you'll know when it chases you.
I mean, yeah, but what I'm saying is there was a reason why it was chasing. It may not have chased it if they hadn't hit the
Oh,
kid
hit his
Bigfoot.
son.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
The baby Bigfoot or whatever you want to call,
It
baby.
may have just avoided them altogether, but it's like a revenge story.
Yeah.
You kill
yeah.
a baby cub, a bear
Right.
cub, and watch what happens.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. So yeah, I thought that was that really helped out the ending for me. I know Dave. I will ask you, Dave, because I know and you're right about that too. As we were talking about the review the other week, what did you think about them? The reveal of Bigfoot. Did you like it or you didn't like it?
As in showing it.
Showing it, right? Because you said
Well,
you showed, right?
like, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, I liked it because they did a good job on the
Okay.
costume. That's
Oh,
what I'm saying. They did a good job because my one rule to a Bigfoot movie, as you all know, is the one rule to a good Bigfoot movie is never to show Bigfoot.
right. Right.
But on this one, because they did such a good job, now I wish they could have made them more massive because a lot of them are massive. Take it from me,
Mm.
but they this one was good though. Still, the makeup job was great. Um, it was great. And then the kid Bigfoot, they did a good job on that. That was a good makeup job. Um, the just like every it was just like everything about the movie they did such a good job because like the cabin was like, I mean, the inside of the cabin was grungy looking, dingy looking, but it's still like the cabin. You can see that being like a cabin in the woods that a old dude doesn't take care of that much. If he, I mean, when he comes, goes fishing or hunting, and he just does whatever with the cabin, and then he goes away for a while. So the cabin kind of matched that, where you could tell that it was livable, but it wasn't taken care of like on a weekly basis. That was good. And then when they found the camper, that dusty old camper,
Mm-hmm.
if you think about it, that's creepy in itself because uh, with the camper just sitting there in the middle of nowhere, and then you're wondering like what happened to the people that owned it. Was it just something they
Hmm.
abandoned? Was it junk that they junked it? Was it trash, or was somebody there? Did somebody live there? And when you thought of, if you really think about it, and you looked at that old cabin, I mean not cabin, I'm sorry, the camper, you're like, that made you think. And then uh, when they went to the area where Bigfoot had his son, because he didn't bury him. His son was sitting out,
Right.
which that was odd because a lot of people probably didn't know when they were watching the film. The Bigfoot actually had a lair that was underground.
Mm.
So did he leave his son there for them to see,
Hmm.
You know
or
what? I thought about that.
uh
I thought about that, and I was sitting there thinking that maybe. So there's, or maybe I'm speaking out of ignorance, but I'm assuming that we just don't know enough about what they actually do and how they bury their own. Like we actually have a process on how we bury our dead, stuff like that. Um, maybe Sasquatch does too.
Yeah.
And maybe this was like, okay, in this particular situation, because it wasn't a natural death or something like that. that, all right, well, I'm gonna bring the people responsible to bury with you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So maybe that was the point of it, being out there that way. Even though its lair was underground, it was one of those things where, like, all right, well, you know, like everything, people have culture, and different cultures, they have different rituals and things of that nature. Who's to say that Sasquatch, which is supposed to be the in between, hasn't developed its own rituals and cultural, in terms of how it operates? And so, you know, all species sort of deal with, the passing of their own a certain way, I'm assuming. So, why not? Like, it is a conscious being. It's a being that obviously cares, like all beings care about their own. There's not a species on the planet that if its offspring is threatened, the mama bear or the mama lion or whatever it is not going to defend it to the death. You see that all the time,
Right.
insects even. So it's very possible that it had its own ritual and that it does bury its own. But maybe in this situation, it was like, hey, I'm burying the people responsible for your demise with you.
Right.
That way it could have peace.
That's
So I did think about that after watching it. So it
yeah.
was
Yo,
actually
good.
pretty. I thought that was actually kind of cool.
That's an interesting concept. Can you imagine a culture or a tribe where if the enemy would kill an individual of the tribe, an outside enemy would kill the individual of the tribe, and then whoever killed the enemy would bury their tribal member who died and the enemy together or side by side. That's an interesting concept. That's a
Right.
good thing. That's a good thing, Jamal.
I
That's
mean,
great.
maybe it believes, like, again, maybe it believes in an afterlife too, like we do.
Mm-hmm.
There's people in different parts of the world at different times of the world where we
Mm-hmm.
believe that we could take things with us.
Right.
There, I just saw something not long ago. It was a picture of these two skeletons where this warrior person had died, I guess, in battle or whatever, and the person's wife was so distraught that it wanted to be buried with him and
Mm-hmm.
died right next to it.
Mm-hmm.
And you could see, the person laying on top of the body, and then when she died, that's just how the remains remained. So when they, uncovered it, that's how they uncovered them. And
Mm-hmm.
so, like I said, it's not unfathomable. Like we all care about what we care about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And our methods and stuff like that are maybe unique to each group. But I thought that was actually like a very good way of humanizing Sasquatch.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like giving it some sort of humanity, some sort of human qualities to it. Even though I think it's beyond humanity that people do things or that things do things.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think all life does that. But
Right.
Right.
um, I thought that was a really good way of at that point showing you why. And actually, once you learned why, it was like it almost made you feel like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
could understand why I did it. It wasn't so much a horror movie as it was like,
Mm-hmm.
like what would you do?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it doesn't have any avenue for justice. It's not like it can go to the cops and say, "Hey, these people killed my son."
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
so it's only going to do what it can do naturally.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 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 That's a and I like the way it is. It's open uh, to interpretation of it all. It didn't. Because it's easy to the writers and the director could easily you know maybe I don't know a friend or maybe he's looking in a book or something and showing you this, but it's open for the audience to kind of you know take it whatever way they want to go with it, not giving us all the answers to why you know they did this and did that.
Mhm.
It felt really good. Uh, you know.
Right. Yeah, it was a good movie. The way that it was paced, it was fast though. It really was a fast movie when you think
Hour
about it.
minutes. Man. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was. It was really a fast movie. I enjoyed it. Uh, and we got a few coming up that I have us to review. They're real good. So if anybody, well, I say this: if anybody wants to buy that movie, if anybody's going to buy it, it is worth it. It is worth it, I would say, because I've watched it several times, several times.
Yeah,
Um,
I noticed that because you gave me the YouTube link,
mhm,
and I think that's when YouTube got it. So it actually said like 2020,
mhm,
and so as I'm watching it, I'm like, okay,
mhm, mhm,
nobody has smartphones, so
mhm.
it
Yep.
got to be older.
Yeah, that's right. That did it. Hold up, they had the cell phone, right? They did use.
They finally, but I think he had
I
a
think they had like, didn't they have a GoPro or something like that
yeah.
too?
They did have GoPro. Yeah, they had
So it was
GoPro.
very weird. Like
Yeah.
they got GoPros and stuff, but they didn't have any smartphones until I think he popped out the BlackBerry.
Mm,
But then I went back to see when the movie first came out. It came out in 2014, but I'm almost assuming that it was probably made even a few years before then, um,
mm,
Yeah.
when it came. So yeah, it's you can tell it's a tad bit older movie, but yeah, it still holds up. I appreciate that after all those years that it's like, oh,
mm.
okay, all right, yeah.
Yeah, that was good. Now, that what was it? When he kicked that trailer off that hill, that mountain, that was rough. I
I s-
was like,
when the guy was riding the bike and and I like the way they filmed it, like Bigfoot, I guess, running parallel to him, and
right,
like on some superhuman speed.
right.
It was kind of cool. I like the way they shot that.
Yeah.
Man, that was terrible, man. Yeah, you're right about that. With the run along, that was good. That kind of reminded. If it was slow motion, that reminded me of the old Bionic Man. So
Yeah,
it
right.
wasn't slow motion, but if they had
You know what
had,
it reminded me of?
what's that?
There's this footage of this guy riding his bike in the
Mm-hmm.
woods. I'm not sure if you guys have seen this. He's riding his bike, and very much like in the movie, there's this bear running along, like coming towards him, and
Right.
he's chasing him. And then he, like, very much like the movie. I swear, it's just like the movie, where the
Mm-hmm.
guy's riding down this path and he's pedaling and he looking back and he has a GoPro, and you see the bear still coming,
Wow.
right? And so, he gets to a point where there's like a big branch in the middle of the pathway, which so he puts the bike down. He gets down and he runs and he hides behind a tree and he's looking, and the bear stops looking for him, you know. But very much like in the movie, and
Yeah,
that's what I thought instantly. I was like, man, I've been kind of weird lately looking at stuff like that, where I'll see like you don't really think about how, because you see bears as being these big mammals, right? They're big animals running around, and they're predators in their environment. They're like apex predators,
hmm
right? You don't think about how fast they are until you see them move.
yeah,
They're fast. They are fast.
They're real fast.
Yeah.
And so it's the same thing with Bigfoot. You don't really think about it because you see him moving slow all the time.
Mhm.
Right.
You got to remember that thing got a stride. Those legs are long.
yeah,
Right.
He's like boom, 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 boom.
Right.
And so with you pedaling real fast and stuff like that, and you're trying to move fast, he's kind of just jogging.
yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So the fact that
And
he was walking him down like that, that was crazy.
you're
Yeah.
running. You're running beside you like, you know, and he's gliding, and you're pouring sweat and trying to run, and you're like, oh.
I'm surprised he didn't fall off the bike then.
Yeah. Like
But you
I was
sent me
waiting for him to fall off. It's like he's gonna fall off eventually.
that. Right. Right.
Yeah,
Fall off
he's
some
scared.
off a cliff or off that bike.
Hmm.
You get off a cliff. Oh my goodness. Well, the thing about it is, well, number one, don't ride bikes near cliffs. That's one lesson to be learned. But don't don't do that. But Yeah, I remember. I think Jamal, you sent me that video. You sent me, and I think
Hmm.
I didn't see all that. I saw the part where I guess he escaped or whatever. But I didn't know he got off and was hiding. Maybe I have to watch it again.
Yeah.
But I do remember that video. That was kind of scary. But yeah, I've we did a Bigfoot thing, a Bigfoot research thing in West Virginia. And I remember as soon as we got to the mountains, we were in the mountains. We were, we set up our base camp there. And I remember as soon as I got in there, I saw a bear. I was like, oh man, this might not be too good. But
Hmm.
fortunately, it didn't come back.
Mm.
Um, I mean, maybe it did, uh, but yeah, it's no joke. The best thing to do though, in a situation like that is one, pray, and then number two, make sure you carry some bear mace, and don't leave your food laying around.
You know
But
what's interesting
yes.
that you say that? It's interesting because we go into, like, human beings
Mhm.
tend to go into any environment, whether it be the ocean, the woods, or anything like that, thinking that we top dog. We go into it thinking it
Always.
because
Yep.
like I'll never forget my dad. I went on a cruise
Mhm.
and I got on a jet ski or whatever, and my dad was like, "You don't do that," and I never understood why. He says, "I said I'm on a jet ski. I'm up there moving like fast."
Mhm.
He said, "That don't mean nothing." It said, "You're in the shark environment."
Hmm.
Okay.
When we go to the woods, you're in that environment. That's where they live. You're visiting. You don't live there. And even when you live there, you're still not at the top of the food chain, you
Right.
Mhm.
know?
Hmm.
Like in these urban environments and stuff like that, sure, because everything is controlled. We have cars, we have shelter, we have guns. You know, it's it's not friendly to wildlife. Even though wildlife can adapt to it, it's still sort of like a fish out of water, so to speak.
Mhm.
Whereas when we get in there, we're the fish out of water,
Right.
Right.
because many of us don't live rough like that. Many of us don't live off the land that way.
Right.
Mhm.
If you look at areas where people do live like that, like in the Amazon or in the safari in Africa and stuff like that, they don't live like right where the animals live. They have their own little spot and they
Right.
respect it.
Yeah.
They know when to move and when not to move because they understand the hierarchy. They don't go in there thinking like, "Hey, you know what, lion, chill out. I'm
Right.
walking through here." No, they don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
The lion, the hyena, all the rhino, they all get at them.
Yeah. Yeah.
The hippopotamus kills more people than anybody.
That's
Wow.
what I heard.
They
Yeah,
can-
I've heard that before.
You know. So
Wow.
so what I'm saying is that when we think about, like, especially us in these kind of situations,
Yes.
like in the Bigfoot movie, a lot of things like I even went into the movie thinking like, you know what, oh, man, we can get a cell phone or have a little pop gun or whatever the case may be.
No. And that's
No.
interesting you mentioned that, Jamal, because I was talking to David because I joke now it kind of brings it full circle because the brother that's in in the film,
He
how
got stereotypical.
he like you said, I don't know if he reverted to what he thought would work in the streets, but
Yep.
the way he was talking, it sounded like I was watching Menace to Society again or whatever. And
Exactly.
it's like, what do you think's gonna happen? You
It's like,
talking to Bigfoot like he gonna understand all of that,
like no.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
like Bigfoot gonna be scared of it. Like
Right?
that, he's not worried about that.
Like I got my
He's like,
cat.
no.
Let's go. I was like,
You need to step out of there. I'm
I
like, man,
I
these are
so
crazy,
hard, but
man.
it was like, okay, all right, I don't know.
David and I got to that part and we talked about it, and David was talking about it. I don't mean nothing. Like, you see how dense his bones are and how massive he is and stuff like that. And like he kind of educated me because you really don't know the physiology of those things too.
Right,
What could kill me and you may just wound it, but it may not be that bad. And you saw that in the movie too.
Right.
He,
Well,
he
yeah, you
got
see that
shot,
he got shot. Yeah.
but it didn't. It was kind of like a flesh wound. It was almost
Right.
like a scrape.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Well,
So
oh,
God, I'm sorry.
oh, uh, one is that with the possible bone density of a squatch, you have to look at it. Well, yeah, the bone density is massive. I mean, if these things are, if they have any type of Neanderthal DNA, most likely the bone density. So they what would hurt us, a regular bullet may hurt them but not kill them. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Right.
just assuming. I mean, if they are connected to, since not none of us really know if they are connected to a Neanderthal type thing, then you have to look at that, as a possibility. Like, hey, it's going to take an elephant gun to take this thing out. Whether it's a real life situation or even in a movie, they might have something where, hey, I can't use a pea shooter. They're not going to do anything.
Right.
But yeah, I'm telling you, I was really big on the costume. It was real good. And if you looked at it, man, like if you looked at it, I think at the end when you could really see it, it was looking at him. It was looking at the innocent guy. Well, not innocent, but the guy that was running, the last survivor.
Yeah.
If you looked at those eyes, man, it was like if somebody had dressed up like that in real life and was playing a prank and just hopped out, I'd be like, oh, it
No,
was
it was good work. It was
Yeah.
good work for
My,
sure. They get a lot of credit for that.
yeah.
right.
Yeah. Yeah. They
Um,
definitely put some money into the the visual or the makeup and things like that. So yeah.
so that's really good. Now we got to get, like I was telling you all, we just got to get, hopefully, uh, uh, one of the big time Hollywood guys will come. We just got to get that one big budget Hollywood Bigfoot movie. That would be great. Since
Yeah.
we
Yeah. I know
You know
that.
what? I'm sorry. Go, Malcolm. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I know there was one. Wasn't that big one, that a big direct, not maybe on this side, but
oh, Malcolm.
oh no, Europe, that was trying to do the Loch Ness monster movie. A big
Okay.
time.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead, Dave.
Oh no, I'm playing. I just wanted to see if you were listening. If you listen to me, go ahead, continue. I'm playing.
No, that's so yeah. I'm sure it could be done like anything. Like they, yeah, I think you know my feelings on this, Dave. But yeah, I'm pretty tired of the vampire movies.
Mhm.
It's like
You
they keep
know,
on them. It's like we can do big, but we can do a couple big, but we can do a couple Loch Ness, whatever.
Mhm.
Or,
Well, they
mysterious.
did. You
Uh,
know what? And we could do a movie review actually, and I'll send you all. They did actually have a couple of Loch Ness movies, but the thing about it, they were more Disney-ish.
yeah,
And nothing against Disney. Disney is good, but they did what do you call it? A couple of them, but I don't think they did anything that was really like heavy, like serious
hmm
for Loch Ness. I don't know if, because I think Sci-Fi Channel did a few Loch Ness.
did they?
you know what I would like to see
What was that?
as far as Loch Ness is concerned. I don't think I would want to see a modern piece about Loch Ness.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
I would actually want to see like a piece from like a different time period,
Mm,
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 mhm.
you know, to where they're actually encountering this thing and it's sort of like, kind of like a period piece, maybe like in the 13th century or something like that, whatever, where they're there, um, like Europe is being formed, so to speak, but it hasn't been like, it's not overly industrialized or something like that. I kind of
right.
would like to see it like that and see how that would go because I think you can make it scary.
Mhm.
Like I think the mystery of the monster, so to speak, and I think you could really explain how the lore got out there.
Right.
Right.
Like that's what I would like to see. I would like to see like the origins of how like the lore of the Loch Ness monster became the Loch Ness monster,
Yeah.
because that's just what we call it. That thing could have been there forever,
Yeah.
right? And then it's just like and then and there's a lot of theories that it was just a dinosaur that got trapped and survived, so to speak, under the water or whatever the case may be, and was able to survive this entire time. But it would be cool to see a piece like that about Loch Ness as opposed to trying to modernize it and people having GoPros and trying to dive
Right.
deep. I don't want to see that. I
They,
don't think that's that interesting because more or less you're looking at it they'll make the movie really just to try to kill the monster, and I don't want to see that.
Yeah. No, that
But,
sounds. I like to
but that
see.
is one good thing. I mean, from what I know from the Loch Ness researchers, I mean, the little bit that I know, I haven't heard anything about them trying to kill it or capture it. So I guess that's a good thing. Uh, the
The
Bigfoot,
government will always try to capture and kill something.
if
That's just
if
that's
they
that's a that's a normal thing.
if they haven't, but think about it, if they haven't created it too, because remember, if the government or the black ops or what not black ops, but the black projects or whatever haven't already tried to create something that was already there. And this is just a theory, a crazy theory. But for example, if Bigfoot was here, well, hey, let's catch a Bigfoot, take the DNA, and why don't we duplicate it? Why don't we make a copy? You know what I mean? If it's feasible, if it's possible.
Yeah.
I
Same
mean,
thing with Loch Ness. You know.
I could definitely see that. Like, so you and I have had conversations about Bigfoot, right? About its existence and stuff like that. And if I was to do it, like, if I were to do a movie about Bigfoot,
Mm-hmm.
I would kind of try to incorporate a lot of the things that I think about it. Like, well, how has it eluded us this entire time? Why is it kind of like the footage we see, is always debatable. People either say it's really too far off and we see something, but we don't know what it is. And
Mm-hmm.
so in people's mind, it breeds a skepticism. But let's just say, for instance, that, it is there and that, it's eluded us because it's an interdimensional being. It's not like it's like it fits in between worlds, and so it kind of comes and it goes, and so incorporate stuff like that in it, as opposed to you deep enough in the woods you might see something. Like let's incorporate some of those things, and let's try to figure out what magic it possesses in order for it to be put going between dimensions. Why can't it just disappear on you? Why has it has been so elusive, especially in the day and age of what we have now with technology.
Right.
We still don't really see like
Right.
it moving and stuff like that. It's always like some picture, and I could argue, hey, that's somebody in a good ass suit. you know,
Right.
so like, um, but I think that would be really interesting. I would love to see the government's involvement because I do believe that if anything, they will definitely try to capture it and figure it out.
Mm.
Because why wouldn't you try to, and I'm not saying I'm this way because I don't
Right.
think
Right.
like that, but like just thinking like if I'm the government, black ops, or the secret sector, the
Mm-hmm.
private sector, so to speak, within the government, why wouldn't I try to weaponize what I find?
Right.
You see it in all movies all the time. They did it with Alien. Remember they tried to bring that thing to Earth and tried to
Mm-hmm.
weaponize that. We weaponized disease.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
smallpox back when they did to the natives to now, like with Ebola, and you could argue Corona. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah.
um, so like I said, I would like to see something along those lines and kind of make it. I mean, make it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I would say about a Bigfoot.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's why I can't believe I'm still like we got to figure out the name of that movie you just had me watch, Dave, a couple weeks ago. But that
Mm-hmm.
was is why I really liked the one you had me watch a couple weeks ago because it wasn't the found footage and it involved it didn't go into detail, but you could tell that some corporation or government agency was somewhere behind it or
Yeah,
like there's something going on. And I get it. Maybe they shouldn't have left it to the sequel because you never know if you're going to get a sequel.
Right.
It was it's intriguing because I hadn't seen that in the Bigfoot movie yet. So yeah.
what about Hitler and Bigfoot?
Well, they
Didn't
did.
they do a
No,
movie
they
like
did.
that?
Well, no. Remember, they had that. It was kind of a. I don't know. It was all right. They had some movie. I forgot the title. Uh,
He
some guy.
kills Hitler and Bigfoot or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
That
Yep.
one,
Oh
not
wow.
that.
Oh,
Like, I'm thinking like, so the cool thing about the Nazi lure,
right.
is that they were deeply involved in the occult.
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
something like
You know what I'm
the
saying? So it's like they were
real.
searching for things, and they were it's well documented. They were going all over the place looking for relics and stuff like that.
Right.
Yep.
Like
So
Antarctica.
just imagine if you had a movie where they actually captured one and tried to, like whatever,
Hmm.
like on some Frankenstein type stuff. But
Hmm.
um, it's not it's not about glorifying them because I don't really obviously I don't care about them, but it's just one of those things where like that kind of stuff will always make for good storytelling.
Yeah.
Mhm. Right.
That shoot. If you think about it, that's how we got to where we got to in terms of our government too, in terms of like the FBI and Homeland Security and everything else. Like it's like Project Paperclip and all the other things that they talk about. You know, like we can incorporate that in the natural world, the natural phenomenon, like a Sasquatch. I'd
Mm.
like to see what they would do with that.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. That'd be nice. That'd be nice.
It yeah, that would be cool, like movie wise, to see
Yeah,
something
movie
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can hear that.
or
Yeah,
a series.
Oh
ooh,
yeah. There.
A series might even be better because then you can flesh out more. You could actually really get there. So
Yeah.
yeah,
that'd be cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like remember what was that? What was the one? You all remember that? Remember they had that one where what was it called? Werewolf. It was a series. Remember that werewolf? Uh,
I don't recall that one.
How long ago?
you don't remember that they had a series and it was a weekly series with this guy that was fighting. He was trying not to be a werewolf and he would battle other werewolves. And I forgot what it was. I think it was called The Werewolf or Werewolf, but it was. I think it was like the late '80s.
Yeah. It's not familiar because they've done like it's the two major Hollywood, I guess what you want to call monster things they like to do is vampires and werewolves.
Right.
That's it, really. And
Right.
dive
Mm.
to other things, but yeah, I could definitely see them doing something on werewolves. Um,
Mhm.
because what was that popular one? Yeah, I can imagine that came out because they had the what was it American Werewolf in London?
Oh, that was
That
good.
that was
That
big.
was good.
I
We
could
could
see that.
do a review on that one episode.
Yeah,
We
I
could
know,
do one
I
on
would
that.
love to.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
but yeah,
Yeah, that was good. Man, you all want me to? I don't want to ruin the other one. I don't want to take the place that exists, but we got to do that one because we could. That was really
I do
yeah.
have a question for both of you.
Mhm.
Your top five, your top five werewolf or wolf movies. Top
Ooh.
five.
Ooh.
good.
Hmm.
Top five. Top five. Let
I mean, it's
me.
all subjective. Just what you enjoyed the most and why.
Um. Of what? Like what? Top five.
Werewolf movies, like
Where
werewolf and wolf
Well,
movies. Anything pertaining to werewolf.
American American Werewolf in
yeah.
London.
Hmm.
That was probably the best. And oh, what was that one? The werewolf with the actor. I forgot his name. It was real good. It came out like early
You talking about
2000.
with Jack? I was gonna say that was my
Oh,
one.
oh,
The one with,
that one too. Yeah,
I like the
that
one with
one.
Jack
Uh,
Nicholson.
right, Wolf with Jack Nicholson.
I like
I like that one. That was you know what? That really inspired me like with movie making because they turned a horror movie into almost a romantic movie. That was more of a romance
right. It
movie.
turned, yeah, it
That
was
wasn't
like
a horror movie. That was
right.
romance. Did very good. I loved it. And then there was another one. Remember the werewolf movie where he looked like really like a werewolf? He looked crazy.
But
I
was
forgot.
that one with Benicio del Toro? I know he was in.
Yeah, yeah.
Wolfman is in my list. Wolfman is in my list. The Wolfman is in my
Wolfman.
list.
Mhm.
That's it.
Wolfman is in my list.
Yeah,
I
Oh yeah,
like that a lot.
yeah. Wolfman was good. And Mid South. I was gonna say Company of Wolves. Company of Wolves. A Company of Wolves. Did anybody see that? A Company of Wolves.
don't think I've seen that one. I don't
What's
think I've,
the one? Hey, Jason Momoa did one, and I don't know if it did good or not, but he did one. Maybe it did well. It was a werewolf movie or series. I forgot the name though.
I don't know a Jason Momoa one. I liked
He
never.
did.
kind of add to this.
Mhm.
You mentioned American Werewolf in London
Yeah, that's
simply because of the transformation part of it was legendary.
yes.
Um,
Yeah.
I really, really, really loved the first Howling. The first
Oh
Howling was
Oh,
incredible.
yes.
Okay, that's in there too.
yeah.
There was another movie. It wasn't really a werewolf, but it still made you afraid. I'm not sure if you guys remember this movie called Wolfen.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Wolfen was great,
Sounds familiar.
and you saw like the view of the wolves
Oh,
that were
yeah.
running
Through
around
the
New
wolf
York City.
eye. Through the wolf
Yeah,
eye.
like it was
Yeah.
the infrared, and it was
Yeah.
running around and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
That
Jack
was really good.
something. What was the actor's name? Jack something. Jack. I forgot. That
No,
was
Albert Finney, I think, is in that.
Albert Finney. Albert Finney.
Albert Finney
And that
is
was
in
like
Wolfen.
80,
Oh,
80.
really? Okay, okay.
81. It was like 81 or something like that.
Malcolm, you
82 or something.
did, didn't you see? I know Jamal
Big
saw it.
Penny fan, so yeah, I got to see that one. I don't think I've seen
Yeah,
it.
Wolf. Yeah, make sure you see
Yeah,
Wolfman.
that's good. Like that's really good. Gregory Hines is in it.
I was
Okay,
about to say, don't forget Gregory Hines. Yeah, Gregory Hines.
He was in that.
Wolfen.
okay.
That's Wolfen. Wolfen.
Trying to think. I really did like the Wolfman because that was a remake of the old movie, but I
Uh,
thought they modernized it in a way where it was good. You
Mm.
know, brought it
oh,
up
guess
to date.
what? Oh, I'm sorry.
What's that?
Uh,
Good.
Mid South Sasquatch. He said, "Oh, Underworld." We forgot
That's what I was
Underworld.
going to say. So you
Yeah,
got me into that one, Dave. And I
yeah.
only reason
So
why I
which
like
one?
because I hate the
Which
vampire,
Underworld though?
but
Yeah,
vampires, werewolves. That's why. That's why. Yeah.
oh,
You know
thank
what?
you.
You know which one Underworld I like? I like the Rise of the Lycans. When you see the beginning of it, that was my favorite. Like the first one is great,
Yeah.
and then Rise of the Lycans when you saw the origins of the Lycans and how they came to be. That
Okay.
those are my two favorite Underworld movies.
Yeah, yeah, the first one. I don't know if I've even seen any. I got to see the others, but I love that they did something different. Where it's like werewolves versus vampires. Okay, okay, I can get
Right.
with that.
They
Yeah,
did good on that, and the creature effects on that was fantastic.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yup.
That was fantastic.
yeah.
And let me my buddy and Bigfoot partner John JP. He said the Momoa movie was called Wolves. It's just simply called Wolves.
The wolves. Okay.
Okay, I have to check that one out.
Right, right. It's real. I think it's easy to find. You can type it right in and pop right
Yeah,
up, and you can watch it.
yeah.
I think.
Yeah, because he's really started getting parts lately, so I can imagine it being something new that I haven't.
And let me ask you. Yeah, let me ask you all this. I don't know if you saw this, but this was creepy. Do you all remember Mid South Sasquatch said Ginger Snaps? Do you remember that one?
The Cookie?
No, no, the movie.
What's it
I've
called?
never heard of a movie called Ginger Snaps.
You got it. Ginger Snaps was Ginger Snaps was crazy. I'm here to tell you.
Right.
Ginger Snaps had it was two girls, and I think one was a werewolf. And I mean, they looked innocent, like two innocent little girls. But I'm telling you, man, this little girl was vicious, man.
Snaps. Okay, okay. I'm gonna have to write that down.
Yeah,
Stuff
man.
I need to watch. Okay.
Yeah,
Hold on.
yeah. So we gotta watch. We all gotta rewatch American Werewolf in London, and we gotta do Big JP Wolves.
Wolves.
Malcolm has to see Wolfen.
Wolfen. Yeah, I'm putting that on there right now, man. That's
I'm actually looking up the Ginger Snaps right now.
Okay.
So
and the movie. I wouldn't even call it a werewolf movie so much, but Dave, you remember it was that French movie that came out. Man, I guess it's going on about 15 years, where they were looking for a big, and it was done like Jamal was saying, maybe during the Loch Ness movie in the past. This was done during the French Revolution. You remember that movie, Dave? Remember it had,
oh,
it's,
I know what you're talking about.
they were looking
Oh
for
my
they had the guy that was trying to be the Native American karate
Oh,
guy.
I got the. Wait, hold on. You all wait. I got the DVD. Hold on.
I was gonna say it. I love that movie. I watch that like almost every other year or something like that, man. I'm like into that.
No, Brotherhood of the Wolf. Is that
That's
it?
it. That's
That
it.
movie was awesome. Oh my gosh,
That's
that
my
movie was good.
That was really
I
good.
enjoyed that. It
Love
was a
that.
French film.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Brotherhood of the Wolf. There you go. There it is. I always forget.
I used to have it on DVD. I don't know what happened to my DVD, but I
Yeah,
used to have that movie,
yeah, yeah. It's great.
Brotherhood of the Wolf.
It's great. It's great. I keep watching the.
Yeah,
I
I'm
got,
I'm looking for it. Brotherhood of the Wolf, man.
huh?
That movie was the bomb. I'm
Yes, it
telling
was,
you.
wasn't it, man?
It's
Yo, it
Jason.
was a action. I'm actually. I need to
It's
see if I
so
have
good.
it.
So good. I wouldn't I wouldn't necessarily call it a wolf man movie, but it's it's about the creature. Everybody's looking for the creature, and it was just it was good. It was so good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Brotherhood of the Wolf.
Brotherhood of the Wolf, man. That's the point.
Man, that was good.
yeah, I like that movie.
Yeah, yeah, that was really good. Yeah, Brotherhood of the Wolf. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
like okay.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
Brotherhood of the Wolf.
Hey,
That-
you just gave me something to watch again because I haven't seen that movie in a minute.
Yeah, it's good. It
But
holds up.
oh! Listen.
It holds up.
Oh, guess what we forgot?
What's that?
Mid South Sasquatch. He remembering everything. Silver Bullet.
Okay,
Silver
now
Bullet.
which was
Silver
it?
Bullet is awesome.
It's
Awesome.
Mal-
No, Malcolm. Silver Bullet. Who was in it? The boy
Gary
that died.
Busey, Corey Haim,
oh,
and I can't remember the chick's name, but Gary Busey's in it. And
Gary is in it. Yeah,
and,
okay.
and the and the guy who plays the preacher, who plays the wolf,
Yeah.
he's the guy. He was in what was he in?
Thank you, Miss.
There was another movie. Remember the movie People Under the Stairs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
He
that.
was the man. The weird brother, sister, husband, wife thing in that
Oh
house.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Me burn in hell. That dude.
yeah.
Yeah. It
Silver
was
Bullet.
him. He was in
Okay.
there.
Bullet. Yeah. I got to watch that. It's been a while since I've seen that one too. I remember.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was real good. Yeah, I gotta rewatch that. I think that's a little bit. If you don't buy it, I think it's kind of harder to get for free online. But
I own it, bro. So you have
oh,
access to my collection, so I own that. So you got it.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I may watch that. I may watch that this evening. Silver Bullet. Oh man, Ginger Snaps.
Yeah.
I know you all probably didn't like an American Werewolf in Paris.
Now, which one was
I
that?
watched it. It was basically the same thing. It wasn't bad, but it was like
Just the reboot or?
No,
yeah, it was like it was essentially the same movie though.
right.
Oh, got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it it was. I think it was kind of just to see if they could do it again. It wasn't as good as American Werewolf in Paris.
Exactly.
But it was okay.
Yeah.
It gives you something to watch. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah. I
It's-
haven't seen that one. I haven't seen that one, but I heard of it.
Yeah, I'll send that over to you. It's good, but yeah, we definitely got to check out. Check out. Oh man, Silver
Yeah,
Bullet.
got a few here. Yeah, I got a few here.
Silver Bullet. Oh my
Both
goodness.
Silver Bullet.
So I do want to bring this up. So I just learned of this movie this weekend.
Mhm.
So I subscribed to Night Flight. I'm not.
Oh,
You remember
yeah.
the show Night Flight? Night Flight used to come on like USA. It was like a cable
USA.
network show,
Oh,
and it would show like all these movies. All these videos,
mhm.
music videos. It was like a music show, and they
Oh,
would do that, and they would do like things on movies and artists and stuff like that. So it just basically like show movies and music videos. Really more so music videos than movies. Well,
mhm.
anyway,
Nice Flight.
I subscribed to it, and they play all these really weird, forgotten movies. And so one just popped up that just became available called what was it called? Night of the Demon.
Oh yeah.
It,
Yeah.
it was a Bigfoot movie that came out in 1980, and it looks kind of crazy. And it's like basically it's like obviously in typical fashion of the 80s,
Yeah.
out in the woods, dealing with sex and Satan rituals, satanic rituals, and then a bloodthirsty, murderous Bigfoot.
Mhm.
I haven't watched it yet, but I plan on watching it to kind of bring this back up next time I'm on the show.
Okay.
Next time I'm on here, but I'm not sure if you have or you subscribe tonight. I think David found it on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
But
If,
check it
yeah,
out.
and it-
Let's
Oh, yeah,
talk
you-
about it. I'd like to see that and see
Yeah.
what he said.
Yeah.
Even if it's cheesy.
yeah.
Night
It's
of the-
It's
Okay.
I found it yesterday. It's on
Oh,
YouTube. So if anybody, if Malcolm, you want to check it out, anybody out there wants to check it out, just type in Night Flight on YouTube. Make sure I think Night Flight YouTube, and you'll see it. And like Jamal says, but I didn't have time to really examine it to see if it has the full episodes, but at least you can see some of the stuff there, and then decide if you want to subscribe to it. I guess how much is it?
I don't remember it. Like I paid for it like for the year, so it doesn't keep coming out my account.
mm,
Okay,
But yeah, no, I like offbeat stuff. Like I said, I'm weird, so
right, right.
you know,
Yeah.
I dig stuff
Yeah.
like
Oh, and Mid South Sasquatch, she said Bigfoot County, and yeah, Mid South, we're going to do Bigfoot County. As a matter of fact, you all remember I just mentioned that today. We'll do a
that
review on
I
Bigfoot
watched
County.
on Bigfoot County.
Mhm.
I think I might have watched that. That might have been the first one.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I did. I sent it to you. I sent
Yeah,
it to you. It was yeah.
and
But
before you get everything together, I
mm,
remember watching one of them. I think that's the name of it, but send me the link again, Dave, and I'll check to make sure. But I think I did see it. I think that one I do remember. I like the cinematography in it, if I remember correctly. It's really,
right,
really good. Um, yeah, yeah.
right. Yeah, we got to check that out. Hey, what's the weather out there, Malcolm?
Right now, it's not too bad. It's about 75.
75. And
Yeah.
Jamal, are you all at 80?
I think it got to like 92 today,
Woo.
so it was hot. You know, I'm glad. Like when I got on the grill, was the sun was coming down, so it wasn't as bad, but it was kind
Right.
of warm.
Yeah.
And it's
Right.
gonna be warm tomorrow, and then I think we're supposed to get some rain, and then it's supposed to cool down like in the lower 80s. It's
Mhm.
weird how we're having this heat wave in Michigan.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
man, yeah, that's strange because we're 85. So I thought you all would be below us in Michigan. I know Malcolm has dry heat, so he's all right.
Yeah, San Diego, it gets this way. We might have 2 weeks in August that'll be in the 90s, or hundreds,
Okay.
but most of the time it's about 75 to 85, somewhere around there.
Okay, 75. Okay. All right. So, yeah, let's cut this because
Yeah,
we went through the review. And we talked about a lot of good stuff, and I want to keep the excitement rolling for the next one. Uh,
yeah. I'm
so
gonna do it better. Like I think, yeah, that's my fault. I gotta make sure I write down the names of some of the actors and the directors.
mhm.
Just so give them their props, or
Yeah, yeah, we got to do that too.
or tell them what we thought they could do better. But yeah,
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. So, Jamal, did you want to leave any information if anybody needs music or
Uh,
anything?
if you're on Instagram, that's usually the social media of choice that I use now. I'm under at DJ Sci-Fi, all one word, um, and that's where you can find me. Inquiries about some of the music you might like or the content on the page, you could always inbox me. I do respond. So as long as you're not selling me Bitcoin or some
crypto.
something else that crypto or whatever the case may be. Not that I think it's bad, but I get that all the time. But other than that, yeah, just hit me up. It's always cool to talk to people.
Right, right.
And Malcolm, what's the two? Are you almost finished the two films, movies, or are you?
It's post production. Get ready to go out to the festivals. Um, so yeah, look for it. Hopefully in some of the film festivals around the country or the world. Hopefully,
Right.
uh, and then stream it afterwards. Uh, People want to get a look at the. I put little trailers and things. It's on Instagram, like Jamal. That's my favorite of choice right now. So Lost Story Productions on Instagram. Go look it up, or Facebook, Malcolm Carter. I eventually will turn once the post production and I'm in producer mode. I'll turn on my Twitter. God forbid my Twitter account. I'll put that back to work, and then figure out what this TikTok's all about and get on there as well. So
Yeah,
Yep.
TikTok. It's pretty cool. All right, fellas, thank you. I appreciate it, and we'll make sure we get the rest of the reviews. A couple, we got a bunch of stuff people want us to review, so we'll definitely get that. Uh, so I'd like to tell everybody thank you, and fellas, what I'll do, I'll catch up to you all,
Okay.
whatnot. So I just got a few things to discuss, but I'll catch up to you all. Okay.
All right then, Dave.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, man.
All right. Thanks everybody for viewing tonight. We hope you enjoyed this episode. We were running on. We kind of got off topic, so hopefully that was okay because we did still talk about some really cool movies. Hopefully you enjoyed. So make sure you all like and subscribe to this show. And as you know, we do a movie review, but also we also do interviews for Bigfoot Eyewitness, Dogman, UFO, Loch Ness. So if you had any crazy encounters, just go ahead. You can email me at davidthundercloud@yahoo.com. So remember, just stay close to God, stay cool, and just keep watching. All right. Have a good evening.